Hello friend, how is it going? Welcome back to Total Maintenance YouTube channel. This video will be different today. I will actually finally answer one of the comments underneath the video which caught my attention. I told you I read your comments, I don't answer, I don't have the time. Making this video means I'm not answering people who call this shop today. There's a backlog, 2 days waiting. Just a lot of stuff I'm trying to do here. Underneath the videos, thank you for wishing the new year. You guys are commenting on what is happening in California. Really briefly on that. At the end of the year there was a big earthquake. 6.4 I believe. So that shook a lot of stuff here. We started New Year with 5.2, right there, January 1st. Boom, it shook this place very briefly. It was awesome, it was way smaller. I don't think there were any damages whatsoever. Then we got this bomb cyclone. The half of the California is swimming in kayaks. You can't drive the cars on the streets anymore. Everything is full of water. So this year is kind of odd. You can hear it, you just heard another rain hitting the roof, so it's kind of interesting. This comment from one of you came underneath starting this project, this 1GRFE. I think it applies so many of you that it's worth to talk about it and read about it, so here we go. The subscriber is Glock Guru 94. Peter, if I might ask a question. I own a 2015 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road with the same 1GRFE engine. I bought it used in 2017 with 34k miles. I had read prior about the engine's tendency to develop oil leaks, so I immediately switched the oil in it to 5W30, full synthetic high mileage from Mobil 1, to hopefully mitigate the potential for leaks. I read in several places, right? That's one of you. You guys are on forums, you are everywhere. So I read in several places that this oil was good for 10k miles between changes, and so I was changing the oil every 8 to 9,000 miles, never letting it go to the full 10k. I have since learned that this oil also needs to be changed every 5k instead of 10k. I put 40k miles on the truck whilst changing the oil as this extended interval. I'm now changing oil at 5k. Do you believe that I've damaged anything in the engine? Question mark. Like the oil rings themselves? Question mark. I also run engine decarbonizer once a year through it since I've bought it. I still has a lot of it still has all the noise and gets the same bad fuel mileage that the 40 is known for? Now it's question mark, I don't get that. Thank you for your time and any info. So I think this really applies all of us. I will include myself. So let's go and section this and answer these questions. But first, sip of coffee. It's really cold here, no heater. Nothing, I'm freezing sometimes. So, he bought the truck almost brand new with only 34k, right? And he immediately, because the learning from the forums and YouTube or I don't know where else, he immediately switched from 0W20, which is on the 4 liter, right? 0W20, he switched to 5W30 to possibly prevent creating oil leaks. And we looked at this together and we know that timing chain cover will have oil leaks on the passenger side. And he's asking, well, was it a good idea and did I damage anything? I can tell you what I will do if I will have truck like that. I will not switch to 5W30 to prevent the possible oil leak. But it's just me. That engine was designed for 0W20. So I will stick with it. We live in the area when in the winter we go 30 Fahrenheit, that's like a minimum lowest temperature. And other than that, it's fairly warm, so we are not in any extreme temperatures, where if he was in Alaska, living in the extreme low temperatures, or Chicago, it's famous in USA, for example, for extremely low temperatures, I will say you definitely should not change to the 5W30, because these cold starts, you definitely need a thinner oil. 0W20 is a thinner oil than 5W30. And on top of it, the engine was designed for that oil. And you must understand there is variable timing. There are all these passages which depend on that oil to be correct, to be clean, and to be correct. So I don't think this owner damaged anything, but I will personally stick with 0W20. That's what I will do if exactly same Toyota Tacoma with that mileage, or if I bought it from him today even with the new mileage, I will switch back to 0W20. If you understand how important the clean and correct oil is for the modern engines, you will be not trying to outsmart the system, in my opinion. At least I won't be. Here you have variable timing on the intake. This is the intake in the center, and here is the exhaust. So you can see only intake has a variable timing. This is set, right, the way it is. And that all of that is ran by the oil pressure. There is pressurized engine oil. It's also in those tappets. You see the valve tappets underneath those lobes. It's all rusted. If you see, oh yeah, here is another piece of that broken valve cover. I just found it here. If you understand how the clean oil is important for correct function, you will definitely, probably keep 0W20. Now he is immediately asking a different question. He says, I'm not following any more factory 10,000 mile interval, which they say I should be using if I'm using full synthetic 0W20, and I went down to 5,000 miles. I fully agree with that. If this vehicle is mine, I will run, even if it was new with 35,000 miles, I will run maximum 5,000 miles, and I will do the oil change. Engine oil changes are basically most important maintenance for every single engine like this, extremely important, and they are relatively affordable, especially if you will be willing to do it yourself. That means if you have this engine, the engine oil filter is even mounted right here on top, so you really have to only drain that engine underneath. That's the only messy work, getting under. Everything else is done up here. Let me show you where it is located. So as we know, here is the oil filter mounted on this engine. So really, it's only the drain on the bottom, which is right here. The reason those designers are pushing 10,000 or 12,000 miles as a service interval, it's the sales point. They are competing with each other to show you, before you buy the vehicle, to show you how little of maintenance that vehicle needs, and therefore it's a huge reason for you buy the brand new vehicle with a very little maintenance. In my opinion, it's a gimmick. It's a sales pitch which is not based on reality. And I will do 5,000 mile service intervals on my engine. All we are assuming here that his story is he wants to keep that truck for a very long time. I will do 5,000 miles because when I open these engines with 5,000 miles and I do the oil change, the oil comes very contaminated. It's definitely worn, contaminated. It's getting thicker. And I don't want to have that oil in this engine for additional 5,000 miles, negatively affecting the wear, possibly building sludge, not running correctly variable systems, variable timing, possibly plugging some very thin oil passages which are for cooling of the engine, because it's not being cooled only by the coolant. Also the engine oil, one of its functions is to cool down the engine which is getting hot from that combustion. So that oil is extremely important, and I wanna have it clean. That's why I will agree with him. Using 5,000 mile engine oil intervals, it's a no-brainer, and it's always cheaper to do the maintenance, preventative maintenance, maybe a little bit sooner than replacing the engine. What else he asked in that comment? Let's go and look. Yep, so I might already said it or not. He asked, do you believe that I have damaged anything in the engine? I don't believe so. Like the oil ring themselves, I don't think so. I also run engine decarbonizer once a year through it since I've bought it. I have no idea what is that product. Where you put it? Do you put it in the engine oil? Or is the one which goes in the intake? I'm not sure, right? Are you cleaning the valves? I don't think so, because it's not a direct injection. So I don't think he's doing that. It still has all the noise and gets the same bad fuel mileage that the 4-liter is known for. And there is a question mark. So maybe it was not meant to be question mark. But yes, we all know that Toyotas are famous about reliability and super high quality, but the fuel mileage on the V6s and V8s is very, very bad. We know that. These vehicles are definitely not the gas savers. We are not buying these trucks, right? This could be in 4Runner, Tacoma, Tundra. We are not buying these V6 for gas mileage. The governments are obsessed with lowering the gas mileage, the fuel mileage, the miles per gallon in the future vehicles. California is insane and obsessed with it. And California will love, right, this new engine. I filmed it, the engine oil. I filmed it for you. It's a Toyota's 0W16. So in the very newest engines, some of them are having 0W16 as a factory fill. And the main reason, number one, is not to make that engine last longer, my friend. It's the gas mileage. Believe it or not. Number one reason they are pushing this and putting it in is saving these miniature amounts of gas. These are all my experiences and opinions. If you like it, give it a thumb up and stay tuned, because tomorrow we will start digging in this baby way more, way deeper, and hopefully we can one day find why this engine was removed from its service. Where is the problem inside? So thank you for watching and supporting this channel, and I will catch you in the next video very soon. See ya!